My name is Loren Raye. I'm a producer for Elvis Duran and the Morning Show. It's a nationally syndicated radio show based out of Z100, New York. We have over 5 million listeners a week listening to the show, and we're on over 50 stations across the country. I help out with the on-air talent. I help out with the producers. I go on air a little bit. I do phone taps. I do audio editing. I do a lot of organization. I get my hands dirty with everything. It's awesome. I grew up in a town called Basking Ridge, New Jersey. It was kind of like suburbia and utopian, but it was a great place to grow up. It was beautiful. I really wanted to be in television first. I was gonna take that spot next to Regis somehow at some point. And then I did one class in radio, thought that it might be something I should look into. And finally, right before my senior year of college, I decided to take an internship here at Elvis Duran and the Morning Show. And I fell in love. It was a very simple, visceral feeling. And I was like, this is where I should be. When I did my internship, it was right before my senior year of college started. I left to go back to school for my final year of college at Penn State. And I got a phone call from our producer telling me that someone was moving up in the show and there was an open position to answer the phones, and they asked me to apply for the job. So I actually found out that I got my job as a phone producer, just screening all the phone calls, while I was home from school for Christmas break. So I basically went from being a college student, and then literally in 24 hours, instead of going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Badass Chick of the Day is my new baby, I guess. Every day on the show, twice a day, I highlight girls that I think are doing really cool things. So whether you're someone overcoming a physical or mental disability, or you're organizing a charity on behalf of someone else, women and girls all across the world that are challenging the norm and stepping up and using their talents and their brains to actually do good or do something different. That's what Badass Chick of the Day is. It's really important for me to do Badass Chick because it's so easy for idiots to get noticed, and I can't stand that. And it makes me sick when people dumb themselves down. It's too easy to get attention that way, and I don't like it. I didn't want to highlight that anymore, so I wanted to highlight the opposite of that. I actually didn't have to pitch the idea of Badass Chick to Elvis at all. One day I was filling in doing the news and Sally Ride had passed away, and just in conversation I was like, she was really badass. And he's like, she was really badass. And so every once in a while I was still filling in for the news. There were women that would come up in the news and I'd be like, oh, she's pretty badass too. And it just kind of morphed into this daily segment that we do. I think what makes someone a badass chick is, A, that she is unafraid to do things. I think it's someone who's not afraid to challenge the norm. I think it's someone who is confident in themselves. A badass is basically someone who is just ready to do it, whatever it is that they're passionate about, that they're okay with it and they're comfortable with it no matter what other people think about them. I like to say that I'm a badass because I have never been the kind of person that cared about what people thought of me. Of course, that's a very generalized statement. There are times that I do respect other people's opinions and think I can learn from what they see me as. But as far as me walking to the beat of my own drum, it's kind of always been that way. I think I've always kind of been someone that was really okay with who I was and who I am and who I'm growing to be. There are days that I'm not, but we all have those days. So overall, I think I'm a badass. I'm really lucky. I have a ton of women that were badasses in my life and continue to be. My mom is like, I'm gonna cry and I hate you for that. My mom is the ultimate badass. She's great. My parents got divorced when I was 8, and I still see my dad all the time. We have a great relationship, but there's something very special about a divorced family, especially when you're an only child and you're living with your mom and you're a girl. And we just have this really awesome relationship where she's one of my best friends, but she was always a mom first, which I think is what makes her so badass, because she made sure that it was all about me and I was good. So she's the ultimate. She's the best. I hope I'm half of what she is one day. She's amazing. So I hope I'm on the right track. Okay, that's enough tears. I hate you. But yes, so my mom is the ultimate badass. She really is. She always had a great attitude with everything, regardless of how crappy everything got. So, I mean, she could definitely be a bitch too, but it's okay. She would agree with that. It's all good. She was always tough love for really good reasons, and I think that's the coolest part about her. She's fun too. A lot of people like my mom. I love that about her. Oh yeah, that's another thing that I don't want people to know. We have this running joke, my boyfriend and I. He's like, I will never tell anyone that you're sappy. I was like, please don't. And please don't tell anyone that I have a heart, because like no one knows. That's okay. So they know now. Radio is a boys' club. There are plenty of women in radio. A lot of the women in radio that you hear who are especially on air, they're the sidekick and they're like, oh, that's not nice. You shouldn't say that. And that's not the type of radio we do, which is why I love working here. Our co-hosts are fearless and ballsy, and that is what I love. It's hard to be a chick in radio. I'm the only girl producer. I mean, we have Carla is our phone producer. She also helps out. As far as like production goes, though, I'm pretty much the only chick producer we have. I don't know what the keys to my success are. First of all, there are a lot of failures to what I'm doing, first and foremost. And maybe that's a key, is the fact that I recognize that I have so many flaws. And I try every day to combat that. And there are days that I do not do well with that. It's the bottom line. But I try to just hit the reset button and start again. I love learning. I am a lifelong learner. You can throw anything at me, and if I'm even remotely interested, I'll take the time to learn about it. And I love that because it keeps it challenging, and it keeps it interesting, and it keeps it new and fresh, and I don't get bored. And I think that's really important as far as sustainability goes. Attitude is really important. If you have that positive attitude, especially if you have that attitude like, yeah, whatever it is, give it to me, I'll do it, let's make it work. That is gonna get you so much further in life. I think that's how I got hired. During my internship, everything was new and exciting, and I was ready to take on everything. I still am. I love so many things about what I do, to be honest with you. First and foremost, I love that I can be me. You know, everyone around here is allowed to be who they are. We're allowed to be quirky, and we're allowed to be weird, and it's celebrated, and I think that's awesome. That's pretty badass. I also love the fact that I work with really talented people every single day. They're funny. They always make me laugh. There's not a day at work, even though it's the worst day in the world, there's not a day at work that I don't laugh. I love that Elvis lets me do so many different things. I mean, he's just, as long as you get your work done, do whatever you want. And that is an awesome boss to have. So this is a good place to be.